What if happiness is not something you wait for, but something you create right in the middle of chaos? What if the worst season of your life is the exact place your healing begins? This audiobook is not about fake positivity. It is about real strength. It is about peace when nothing makes sense, because true happiness is not found when life is easy. It is built when life is hard. Ready to find light in your darkest moments? Then subscribe, and stay with us. Your journey to real happiness starts right here. Section 1. The truth about happiness. It was never meant to be perfect. Written in short, emotionally rich sentences, with common vocabulary, natural rhythm, full punctuation, and pacing suitable for realistic AI narration. Approximate 1,000 words. They say happiness is a destination, a final place you arrive at, after the pain is gone, after the storm has passed, after everything is perfect. But that is a lie. Real happiness does not wait for life to be perfect, because life will never be perfect. There will always be something, a wound that is healing, a bill that is late, a heart that is unsure. So if we wait for perfection, we miss life itself. True happiness is not found in the absence of struggle. It is found right in the middle of it. It is not about ignoring the pain. It is about holding the pain and still finding light. That is the truth no one tells you. You are allowed to cry and smile in the same breath. You are allowed to hurt and still hope. You are allowed to feel broken and still be whole inside. We are human, and the human experience is messy, raw, imperfect, but still beautiful. Let us go back to the beginning. There was once a child. She believed happiness was simple. A hug from her mother, a walk in the sun, a soft voice telling her, "You did well." But as she grew, the world told her something different. They said, "You'll be happy when you succeed, when you earn more, when you look a certain way, when everyone approves of you." And so she chased it. The grades, the praise, the perfect photo, the checklist life. But something was missing. Even when everything looked good, she felt empty. She laughed at parties, but cried at night. She achieved goals, but still felt lost. One night, she sat by her window. The world was quiet, and she whispered to herself, "Why am I not happy?" That was the night she began to wake up, because true happiness is not loud. It is not showy. It does not always come with a smile. Sometimes it is quiet, gentle, barely noticeable. It is the soft peace of sitting with yourself and feeling okay. It is knowing that even if everything falls apart, you are still enough. That girl learned something that changed her life. Happiness is not something you find. It is something you choose, something you build. Even on the days it feels impossible. She learned that joy is not found in the big moments. It is found in the small ones. The sound of rain on the roof, a deep breath in the morning, a kind word from a stranger, a moment of silence that does not feel empty. These are the building blocks of a happy life. Tiny pieces of peace, collected one by one, held tightly, protected. You see, the world trains us to look outside, to search for things, for more, for better, for what we do not yet have. But the truth is, everything you need to feel alive already lives within you. You just have to quiet the noise and listen. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat with yourself and felt peace without needing anything to change? When was the last time You gave yourself permission to be okay right now, even if everything was not. That is the beginning of true happiness. It does not come from control. It comes from surrender. It comes from saying, I do not have to fix everything to feel joy. I can feel pain and still feel thankful. I can grieve and still grow. The happiest people are not the ones with the easiest lives. They are the ones who keep their hearts open, even when it hurts. They are the ones who look at the rain and still search for the rainbow. They are not perfect, but they are present. They are not always cheerful, but they are always real. And being real, being honest, being fully alive, that is happiness. So today I ask you, what if you stopped chasing the perfect life and started loving the imperfect one you already have? What if you stopped waiting for the pain to end and started building joy in the middle of it? What if happiness was not something far away, but something waiting for you to notice it right here, right now? It is in your breath. It is in your courage. It is in the fact that you are still trying, even when life is hard. That is powerful. That is enough. You do not need to smile all the time. You do not need to be positive every second. You do not need to fake joy just to prove you are strong. True happiness does not ask you to pretend. It invites you to be honest, to be gentle, to be human. And being human is more than enough. So, as we begin this journey, I want you to carry one truth with you. Happiness is not a reward for avoiding pain. It is the light you find when you choose to walk through it. Section 2. When life breaks you, but you're still breathing. There are moments in life when everything shatters. The kind of moments that change the shape of your heart forever. No warning, no plan, just silence and pain. It could be a loss, a heartbreak, an illness, a failure you never saw coming, or the slow, quiet erosion of your spirit over days, months, maybe even years. No matter how it happens, it feels the same, like life has punched a hole through your chest and left you gasping for air. And in that moment, that dark, heavy, quiet moment, you ask the question so many have asked before: how do I go on from here? There is no easy answer. There are no magic words, no quick fixes, because when life breaks you, it is not just about surviving the moment. It is about surviving the after, the days when you wake up and wonder why, the nights when the silence is too loud, the mornings when you stare at the mirror and do not recognize the person looking back. This is the part of the story no one talks about enough, the part where you feel so unbelievably alone, even in a crowded room, where joy feels like a memory, where your body keeps moving, but your soul is too tired to keep up. You still laugh sometimes. You still show up, but inside, you are holding everything together with the thinnest thread. And yet, here you are, reading this, listening to this, still breathing, still showing up, still hoping deep down that there is more to life than this pain. That hope, that tiny flickering light inside you, is everything. It may not feel strong. It may barely feel real, but it is there. And that means you are not done. Life breaking you is not the end of your story. It is the start of a different chapter, one where you slowly, gently pick up the pieces, not to be who you were, but to become who you were meant to be. Let us pause here. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath. Feel your heart beating. Feel the air entering your lungs. Feel the ground beneath your feet. You are still here. And being here, even when you feel broken, is a kind of bravery the world rarely honors. But I want to honor it now, because you could have given up. You could have shut down. You could have closed your heart. But you did not. You kept going. And that matters. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who lost everything he thought he needed. His job, his health, his sense of purpose. He spent months waking up and going through the motions, smiling at people, saying he was fine. But inside, he was breaking a little more each day. Then one morning, he sat in his car, staring at the steering wheel, and whispered, "I can't do this anymore." But something happened. Not a miracle, not a loud voice from the sky, just a soft thought. Maybe I do not need to do everything today. Maybe I just need to breathe, just for today. So he did. He took one breath, then another. And that day, he went home and sat in silence. He did not try to fix everything. He did not pretend to be strong. He just let himself exist, fully, honestly, broken, but breathing. And in that small act, he began to heal, one breath at a time, one day at a time. That is how it works. Healing does not start with getting back to who you were. It starts with accepting who you are now. It starts with being okay, with not being okay. It starts with realizing that your brokenness does not mean you are less worthy of love, or peace, or joy. It means you are human, and humans break, but they also rise. They rebuild. They come back with softer hearts and deeper wisdom. So if you feel broken, if you feel like your world has stopped spinning, if you feel like joy is a language you no longer speak, remember this. You are allowed to feel it. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to say, "This hurts more than I can explain." You are allowed to grieve the life you thought you'd have. You are allowed to take time. You are allowed to heal in silence. But you are also allowed to hope, to believe in second chances, to trust that something beautiful can grow from the ashes of what was lost. You are not weak for feeling broken. You are strong for continuing. You are not behind. You are exactly where you are meant to be for the next part of your journey. So breathe. Cry if you need to. Rest if you must. But do not give up, because you are still breathing. And as long as you are breathing, there is still more for you. More healing, more light, more love, more moments of unexpected peace. They are coming. You may not see them yet, but they are already making their way to you. And one day soon, you will look back on this part of your story, the part where life broke you, and you will whisper to yourself, "I made it through." Section 3. The silent battle, choosing hope when you feel nothing. There is a kind of pain that is hard to explain. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is not the kind of pain people notice. It is quiet. It hides behind your smile. It lives in your silence. It is the feeling of being empty, of being numb, of walking through your life and not feeling anything at all. You are not crying, but you are not okay. You are not screaming, but inside, you feel tired, not just tired in your body, but tired in your soul. This is the silent battle, the one no one sees, the one that takes the most strength. Getting up every morning, when nothing excites you, sitting with people, and pretending to care, trying to smile, when your heart feels cold. And the hardest part, you cannot explain it, because nothing is technically wrong, but nothing feels right either. You feel lost, disconnected, alone, even around others. You do not want attention. You just want relief. You want to feel something, anything. But instead, you move through the hours like a ghost in your own life. This is what depression can look like, or burnout, or deep grief, or spiritual fatigue. Whatever name you give it, it feels the same. You want to care, but you do not. You want to cry, but no tears come. You want to feel joy, but it slips right through you. And yet, you are still here. That means something. It means some part of you has not given up, even when everything feels flat, even when your heart feels quiet. There is still a tiny voice inside you, whispering, "Keep going." That voice is called hope. Hope is not loud. Hope does not always smile. Sometimes, hope just means getting out of bed. Sometimes, hope means brushing your teeth, even when you do not care. Sometimes, hope means sitting with your numbness and saying, "I do not feel good, but I am still here." That is enough. You do not need to fix everything today. You do not need to feel happy right now. You just need to keep showing up. One breath at a time. 1 hour at a time. One small act at a time. Let me tell you a truth. Numbness does not mean you are broken. It means you are protecting yourself. Sometimes your brain turns off your feelings so you can survive. It is not failure. It is a defense. And you do not need to hate yourself for that. But now, you are tired of surviving. You want to live again. So how do you come back? When you feel nothing, you start with small things. A warm cup of tea, a walk outside, a 5-minute stretch, a gentle song. You do not chase happiness. You invite life back in. Slowly, you speak kindly to yourself. Even when your mind is dark, you say, "I am still here," and that matters. You say, "I do not feel good, but I trust that feeling will return." And it will, not all at once, but slowly. You will laugh again. You will cry again. You will feel again. Because numbness is not forever. It is just a pause. Your body is resting. Your heart is healing. And deep inside, your spirit is still alive. Let us imagine a story. A woman once said, "I stopped feeling anything for 6 months. I would go to work, come home, lie on the couch. No joy, no sadness, just blank space." Then one day, she heard a bird outside her window. It was not special, but it made her pause. She stood up, opened the window, and just listened. And for a few seconds, she felt something. Not joy, not peace, but something. That was the moment she knew she was coming back. Slowly, gently, quietly. You will, too. You do not need to rush. You do not need to feel it all at once. You just need to notice one small thing each day. The way sunlight lands on your floor, the smell of rain, the warmth of water on your skin. These are signs. Life is still with you, and your emotions are waking up. Keep choosing hope, even if it is quiet, even if it is small. Hope is not pretending. Hope is believing that today is not the end. Hope is lighting a candle in the middle of the dark and saying, "I am still here." You are not alone in this. So many walk through life carrying silent pain. You are not weak. You are not lost. You are in a slow return. So do what you can. Forgive yourself often. Rest when needed. And know this, even when you feel nothing, you are still everything. You are still worthy. You are still loved. And one day, the color will return. The warmth will return. The joy will return. Until then, choose hope, even if all you can do is whisper it quietly to yourself. Section 4. From rock bottom to inner peace. The first step is surrender. Rock bottom is not the end, even when it feels like it. It feels like the place where everything stops, where hope runs dry, where strength disappears, where the world feels too heavy to carry. But sometimes, rock bottom is where the real journey begins, because there is something strange about pain. When you hit the lowest point, you stop pretending, you stop performing, you stop holding it all together, and, for the first time, you are fully honest, not with the world, but with yourself. You admit, I cannot do this anymore. I do not have all the answers. I am tired and I need help. That moment, that raw, quiet moment, is not weakness. It is surrender. And surrender is not the same as giving up. Giving up means quitting. Surrender means letting go of the fight you were never meant to carry alone. It means saying, I am done carrying this pain by force. I am done pretending I am fine. I am ready to feel, even if it hurts. That is the doorway to peace. Peace does not always come. When things get better, sometimes peace arrives. When you stop trying to control what cannot be controlled. When you stop trying to hold yourself to impossible standards. When you sit in the middle of the mess and say, this is where I am, and that is okay. Let me tell you a story. A man lost everything. His business, his relationship, his identity. He spent months trying to fix it all, trying to force things back into place, trying to be strong. But it was not working. The more he forced, the more he fell apart. One night, he sat on the floor of his empty living room, tears in his eyes, heart broken open, and he said, I have nothing left to give. He did not scream. He did not break anything. He just sat, still, exhausted, there. That night, something shifted. Not the world outside him, but the world within him. For the first time, he was not fighting life. He was facing it, fully, honestly. He surrendered, and that surrender became his strength. From that moment, he stopped chasing. He started breathing. He started walking forward, one small step at a time. That is how healing begins, not with noise, not with a grand moment, but with stillness, with truth, with surrender. Let go of the idea that you always have to be strong, that you always have to know what comes next, that you are failing just because you feel lost. You are not failing. You are becoming. And becoming is messy. It is painful. It is powerful. So if you are at rock bottom right now, do not rush to escape it. Breathe. Look around. This place, though painful, might be the most honest ground you will ever stand on. Here you get to rebuild, not for others, not for approval, but for yourself, piece by piece, breath by breath, from the inside out. And it starts with surrender. It starts with saying, I do not have it all figured out, and I do not need to. That alone brings peace, because peace is not found by forcing life to match your plan. Peace is found by allowing life to be what it is, and loving yourself anyway. There is wisdom in the silence. There is strength in the softness. There is beauty in the breakdown. And there is power in choosing to begin again, even when you feel weak, even when you feel afraid, even when your heart feels empty. You begin again anyway. That is real courage, not the kind you post online, not the kind you perform for applause, but the quiet kind, the tired kind, The brave kind that says, I will keep walking, even if my steps are small. And with each step, you rise, not back to who you were, but forward into someone stronger, softer, wiser, someone who knows. That rock bottom was not the end. It was the foundation. It was the rebirth. It was the start of a new kind of peace. A peace that is not loud, not dependent, not fake, but real, rooted, unshakable. So, if you feel lost now, broken now, defeated now, I want you to hear this. You are not weak for falling. You are strong for standing back up. Even if you are shaking, even if you are scared, you are still standing. You are still breathing. And that is more than enough. Let the pain soften you. Let the silence teach you. Let the surrender free you. You do not have to carry it all anymore. You can rest now. You can trust now. You can rebuild gently, slowly, honestly. And from this ground, from this so-called rock bottom, you will rise, not as the same person, but as someone new, someone true, someone at peace. Section 5. How pain transforms you, the gift you never saw coming. Pain is a teacher, but it does not come with kindness. It arrives without warning. It breaks things. It takes things. It changes you, whether you are ready or not. No one chooses pain, but everyone faces it, in different forms, in different seasons. And when it comes, it feels cruel, unfair, empty. It can shatter your confidence, shake your trust, question your faith, and silence your joy. But here is what you need to know. Pain is not the end. Pain is the beginning, not of suffering, but of transformation. It strips you down, takes away the noise, the ego, the masks. It leaves you raw, exposed, vulnerable. But in that space, something powerful begins. You start to see yourself differently, not as a role, not as a job title, not as someone who has to have it all together. You see the real you, the part that feels, the part that questions, the part that longs to grow. Pain creates space. It clears the clutter, and it forces you to pay attention to what actually matters, what you love, who you are, what you believe. Pain slows you down, and in that stillness, you start to awaken, not all at once, but slowly, like morning light creeping through the dark. Let me tell you a story. A woman lost her job. She gave everything to it, worked late, pushed hard, ignored her body, ignored her soul. Then, one day, it was gone. She felt like she lost herself. She cried. She stayed in bed. She stopped answering calls. But over time, something shifted. She picked up an old journal. She started writing again. She remembered her love for painting. She began to walk every morning, not to escape, but to feel. And one day, she looked in the mirror and saw someone she had forgotten, not the employee, not the achiever, but the woman who loves nature, who finds beauty in silence, who wants to live gently. She smiled, not because everything was fixed, but because she was finally found. That is the gift of pain. It brings you home, home to your truth, home to your values, home to your heart. But the journey is not easy. Pain is messy. Pain is loud. Pain can be cruel, but it also carves you, like a river shapes stone, like fire shapes gold. Pain refines you. It teaches you to slow down, to ask better questions, to choose more carefully, to breathe more deeply. It gives you new eyes. You start to notice things you never saw before. like the way the sun touches the leaves, or the sound of your child's laughter, or the quiet peace of being alone. Without feeling lonely, pain softens your edges. It makes you more human, more open, more kind. You become less quick to judge, less quick to speak, and more willing to listen, because now you know what suffering feels like, and that changes how you treat others. You begin to see the pain in their eyes. Even when they are smiling, you start to ask, "How are you really?" And you actually want to know. That is the power of transformation. It turns wounds into wisdom. It turns scars into stories. It turns silence into understanding. Pain also teaches patience. You learn to sit with things. You learn to wait. You learn to trust timing. And in that waiting, you find your strength. Not the kind that lifts weights, but the kind that holds space. The kind that says, "I have been through the fire, and I am still standing." That is unshakable strength. It cannot be bought. It cannot be borrowed. It is earned in the valley, in the dark. And once you have it, no one can take it from you. Let me say this clearly. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not falling apart. You are falling into place. Right now, it may not feel like a gift. It may feel like the opposite. But one day, you will look back on this pain and see how it shaped you, how it revealed you, how it grew you. You will thank it, not because it was easy, but because it was honest. It stripped away the lies, the noise, the fear, and it left you with something real, a new version of you, one that feels more, one that loves better, one that breathes deeper. So do not rush this. Do not wish it away. Let the pain speak. Let it teach. Let it move through you. Cry when you need to. Rest when you must. But do not numb it. Do not bury it. Face it. Feel it. Honor it. Because it is shaping you. And who you are becoming is worth every tear. Section 6. Learning to smile without a reason. Not all smiles come from happiness. Some come from peace, from acceptance, from quiet strength. There is a kind of smile that does not need a reason. It just comes, softly, naturally, not because everything is perfect, but because you are okay, even in the middle of the storm. This smile is different. It is not for show. It is not forced. It is not hiding anything. It is real. It is rooted. It rises from somewhere deep inside. You may not know when it will come, but it will. One day, after weeks or months of heaviness and healing, you will feel it. Maybe while sipping tea. Maybe while watching the sky change colors. Maybe while sitting alone and not feeling lonely. A tiny smile will stretch across your face, and you will not need to explain it. You will not need to post it. You will just smile, because something inside you will finally feel light again. This kind of smile is the sign that you are healing, that you are coming back to life, not chasing it, not forcing it, just returning gently. It means your heart is no longer fighting. It is resting. It is breathing. It is learning to live without needing a reason. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you smiled? Not for anyone else, but just for yourself? Not because you were told to, not because you felt pressure to be positive, but because your soul felt a little bit softer. That moment matters. It may seem small, but it is everything, because for so long you carried pain. You walked through dark places. You woke up heavy, and now Your body remembers how to feel light again. That is no small thing. That is a quiet miracle. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who spent years fighting sadness. He was strong on the outside, but inside, he was tired. He tried to stay busy, tried to stay numb, but one day, he gave himself permission to stop fighting. He took a walk alone. No music, no phone, just the sound of his footsteps. And for the first time in years, he looked up. He saw the clouds. He noticed the breeze. And for no reason at all, he smiled. Not because anything changed, but because he had changed. He had made peace with what he could not control. That is what this smile means. It means you have stopped waiting for life to be perfect. You have started allowing it to be real. You have stopped trying to fix everything and started feeling okay, even in the mess. It means you no longer need permission to feel joy. You are claiming it for yourself. And yes, you are allowed to smile, even if there are still tears, even if some things are still uncertain, even if you are not where you want to be yet. Joy can live beside grief. Hope can walk beside fear. And smiles can rise, even in the middle of sadness. You do not need to earn joy. It is your birthright. It belongs to you. Always has. Sometimes the world tells us that joy must come from a reason, from a win, from a success, from something big. But the best joy is quiet joy, ordinary joy, joy that comes without needing applause. It comes when you are brushing your hair, when you're folding laundry, when you're sitting at the window and you realize you feel calm. That is healing. That is peace. That is something worth holding on to. But here is the truth. You may not feel that every day, and that is okay. Joy is not constant, but it is always possible. It may come in waves, in small bursts, in soft moments, and your job is not to chase it, but to notice it, to welcome it, to say, yes, this smile belongs to me. You have been through so much. You have survived things others may never understand. And yet, here you are, still choosing softness, still searching for peace, still letting yourself smile. That is strength, not the kind that shows off, but the kind that whispers, I am still here. So smile without guilt, without shame, without a need to explain. You do not owe anyone a reason for your peace. You do not need permission to enjoy your life. Even if your healing is not finished, even if the pain is not fully gone, you are still allowed to feel joy. You are still allowed to laugh, to rest, to feel free again. Because life is not just about surviving. It is also about remembering how to live. Let this smile remind you that your soul is still alive, that beauty still exists, that the light inside you can shine again. Let it be soft. Let it be sacred. Let it be yours. Because when you learn to smile without a reason, you are not just healing, you are blooming. Section 7. When the world is loud, go quiet and listen within. The world is loud. It rushes. It shouts. It pulls you in every direction. You wake up to noise, to notifications, to opinions, to expectations. Everyone wants something. Do more. Be more. Prove yourself. Keep going. Keep climbing. And before you know it, you are drowning in it. You cannot hear your own thoughts. You forget what matters. You forget what you need. Because the world never stops. But you need quiet. You need stillness. You need a place where the noise ends and your soul can breathe. That place is not out there. It is inside you. But to find it, You have to go inward. You have to listen. And listening takes silence, not the absence of sound, but the presence of peace. Let me say that again. Silence is not empty. It is full of answers. When you sit in silence, you begin to hear things you never noticed before. Your breath, your heartbeat, your truth. You begin to feel again. Not what the world wants you to feel, but what your soul has been trying to say. Maybe it whispers, you are tired, or you need rest, or you miss the old you, or it is time to let go. The voice within you is always speaking, but the world is always louder. That is why you must choose to turn the world down and turn yourself up, not forever, just long enough to remember who you are. Let me tell you a story. A man worked long hours, always on the move. Meetings, messages, money, but something was off. He had everything except peace. One morning, he left his phone inside, took a chair, and sat outside, alone. No music, no talking, just birds, wind, his breath. For the first time in years, he heard his own thoughts. At first, it was strange, uncomfortable, loud in a different way. But then, he settled. He felt his chest rise, felt the air in his lungs, felt his eyes soften. And in that quiet, he realized something powerful. I have been chasing everything except myself. That moment changed him. Not because the world changed, but because he chose silence. And silence gave him clarity. This is what we all need. Not more noise, but more space, more pause, more presence. You do not have to go on a retreat. You do not need a perfect place. You just need one room, one corner, one moment where you can sit and breathe. Try this. Each day, give yourself 5 minutes. No screens, no tasks, no talking, just you and stillness. Close your eyes. Put your hand on your heart. Listen. At first, it will feel odd. You might feel restless, distracted, even anxious. That is normal. You are detoxing from noise. But keep going. Stay there. Let the thoughts come. Let the feelings rise. Do not fight them. Do not judge them. Just witness them. Let them pass like clouds. And underneath them, you will find something rare, something sacred, your true voice. Not the one shaped by fear. Not the one trying to please. Not the one that is always tired. But the one that says, this is who I am. This is what I need. This is what I believe. The more you listen, the louder it gets. And over time, you begin to trust it. You begin to live by it. And suddenly, the noise of the world does not control you anymore. Because now, you have something stronger, inner guidance. You move with purpose, with peace, with alignment. You no longer say yes to things that drain you. You no longer chase what does not matter. You walk slower, breathe deeper, love better, because now you are listening. And here is the truth. You always had the answers. You just needed to make space to hear them. When the world is loud, you do not have to match it. You can be the quiet one, the steady one, the one who listens before they speak, the one who chooses peace over performance, the one who leaves space in every day to come back home to themselves. That kind of living is rare, but it is real. It changes you, and it changes how others feel around you. You become someone who carries stillness, who brings calm, who listens deeply, and acts with care. not because you are perfect, but because you have learned to lead with presence. So when the world is loud, go quiet, go within, sit in the silence, find your breath, find your truth, and live from there. That is where peace lives. That is where clarity rises. That is where you remember that you were never lost. You were just buried under too much noise. Section 8. Healing is not a straight line, and that's okay. Healing is not a straight road. It twists, it turns, it slows down, and sometimes it stops. One day, you feel strong. The next, you feel broken again. You think you're getting better. Then the old pain comes back. A sound, a memory, a scent, and suddenly you're crying, shaking, back in that place you thought you'd left behind. It is confusing. It feels unfair. It makes you wonder, am I going backward? But you are not. You are healing. And healing looks like this. It is messy. It is unpredictable. It does not follow a calendar. It does not care about deadlines. You do not wake up one day and find all your pain gone. That is not how this works. You wake up and choose healing again, and again, and again. Some days you move forward. Some days you sit still. Some days you fall apart. But you are still healing. Falling apart does not erase your progress. Tears do not mean you failed. Needing rest does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. Let me repeat that. You are human. And humans hurt. Humans heal. Humans rise. And fall. And rise again. That is the rhythm of healing. And that is okay. Let me tell you a story. A woman lost someone she loved. She cried for weeks. She couldn't sleep. She stopped answering calls. Then, slowly, she started doing small things. She opened the curtains. She made coffee. She went for short walks. One morning, she smiled. She laughed at a memory, and she thought, I'm healing. But later that week, she heard a song, and the pain returned. Tears she thought were gone came back. She felt broken again, and, for a moment, she felt shame. But someone told her, this is not the end. This is a wave. Let it move through you. And so she did. She cried. She rested. And then she kept going. That is what healing is. Not pretending to be okay, but giving yourself grace. When you are not, it means understanding that peace can live beside pain, that you can feel joy and sadness in the same breath. It means holding space for every version of you, the strong one, the tired one, the hopeful one, the hurting one. You do not have to pick one. They all belong. They are all part of your healing. You may feel frustrated. That is okay. You may feel like giving up. That is okay too. But just know this. Every breath you take is proof that healing is still happening, even when you do not feel it, even when it is slow, even when it hurts. Progress is not always visible. Sometimes it is silent. Sometimes it is hidden. In the way you get out of bed, in the way you say no, in the way you finally ask for help. That is healing. It does not need to be beautiful. It just needs to be honest. There will be days when you feel like you're back at the beginning, but you are not, because this time you have wisdom, you have tools, you have experience. You are not who you were when the pain first came. Now, you know how to breathe through it. Now, you know how to sit in the storm and wait for the calm. That is growth. That is strength. That is something to be proud of. You are not healing to go back to the person you were before. You are healing to become someone new, someone softer, someone wiser, someone more aware of what truly matters. You are becoming someone who can hold pain and still love deeply, someone who can be afraid and still move forward, someone who can sit in the dark and still believe the light will return. That is not weakness. That is transformation. So stop measuring your healing by how happy you feel. Start measuring it by how real you are becoming. Are you honest with yourself now? Are you more patient? Are you more gentle with your heart? That is healing. Are you giving yourself permission to feel without judgment, to cry without shame, to rest without guilt? That is healing too. Healing does not ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be present. Present with your pain. Present with your process. Present with your heart. So if today is hard, let it be hard. If you need to lie down, lie down. If you need to cry, cry. And when you are ready, stand up. Wipe your face. Take a breath. And begin again. You are not starting over. You are continuing in your own way, in your own time. And that is more than enough. Let go of the need to rush through this. Let go of the pressure to always look strong. This journey is yours. No one else can walk it for you, but many have walked it before, and they made it through. You will too, because healing is not a straight line. It is a spiral. It circles back, but every time it returns, you are stronger. You are wiser. You are closer to peace. So give yourself grace. Give yourself space. And remind yourself daily, I am healing. Even if it does not look the way I thought it would. Even if it takes longer than I hoped. Even if I am not there yet. I am healing. And that is enough. Section 9. Living light, even in the dark, the practice of real joy. Joy is not a reward. It is not something you earn. It is not something you wait for. Joy is a choice, a practice, a way of living, even in the dark. Some people think joy comes when everything is right, when life is calm, when the future is clear. But the truth is deeper. Joy is not the absence of pain. It is the presence of hope. It is not pretending everything is fine. It is knowing you can smile, even when it is not. You can carry joy through grief, through healing, through change. Joy does not erase your sadness. It walks with it, side by side. Joy is not loud. It does not need attention. It does not ask for permission. It simply arrives. When your heart is open, when your eyes are soft, when your soul is still. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you allowed yourself to feel joy without guilt, not because everything was perfect, but because for a moment you felt alive? That moment matters. It means you are healing. It means you are growing. It means light still lives inside you. There are many ways to practice joy. And yes, it is a practice. You do not wait for it. You create it through small things, simple things, everyday things, like stepping outside and letting the sun touch your skin, like drinking a warm cup of tea and tasting it slowly, like hearing your favorite song and letting your body move, like telling someone, I love you, and meaning every word. Joy hides in these moments, but most people miss them because they are looking for more success, more approval, more excitement. But real joy does not need more. It just needs presence, to be here, to be still, to be grateful. And no, joy is not always easy. Sometimes it takes work. Sometimes you have to fight for it. Because life is heavy, the world is loud, and your mind may still hold fear. But you can choose joy anyway. You can say, yes, I am hurting, but I will still smile today. Yes, I am healing, but I will still look for beauty. Yes, the past was painful, but the present is a gift. That is what living light looks like. It does not mean the dark is gone. It means the dark no longer controls you. It means you have learned to carry your own light, even in the shadows. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man who had lost everything: his job, his health, his hope. He thought joy was gone forever. He stopped laughing, stopped dreaming. But one morning, he saw a child in the park, chasing butterflies, laughing loudly. No fear, no shame, just joy. And something shifted in him. Not everything changed, but something opened. He realized joy was not gone. It was just waiting, waiting for him to notice it again. He walked home slowly, smiling, not because life was fixed, but because his heart was ready, ready to feel again. You are ready too. Joy is not for the lucky. It is not for the perfect. It is for everyone, even you, especially you, you who have carried so much, you who have cried in silence, you who have kept going. When no one saw your pain, you deserve joy. Not someday, today, even if just for a few seconds, even if it feels small. You can light a candle in the middle of the night. You can sing softly when no one is around. You can place your hand on your heart and whisper, I'm still here. That is joy. That is what it means to live light, to walk with peace, to breathe with ease, to smile with no reason other than being alive. So how do you practice real joy? You pause. You notice. You give thanks. Not for everything, but for one thing, one breath, one moment, one soft feeling that reminds you you are human. Joy grows when you notice it. It expands when you share it. So give it away. Smile at strangers. Hug your loved ones longer. Speak kind words out loud. Dance even if you feel awkward. Live light, not because you have no darkness, but because you no longer fear it. The dark will come, but so will the morning. You can hold both. You can be strong and soft. You can be healing and joyful. You can be real and light. That is the balance of life. That is the truth of being alive. So today, choose joy, even in the small ways, even when it feels hard. Joy is not far away. It is already inside you, waiting, ready. All you have to do is let it rise.